Hi everyone, sorry for running a little bit late, just finishing something off. Um, Really good to have everyone here. We are just gonna kick straight off if everyone's ready. Yeah, as always, we got Q&As. I am the only one monitoring it today, so if I don't get to it immediately, it's because I'm probably talking. But please submit questions and any comments or anything in the Q&A, and then I can respond, or I'll come and grab them and give some space to answer them. So yeah, we're going to jump right in. Hopefully a bit of a shorter one today. We're going to really cover the employee survey, the ENPS for August. We'll just quickly recap where we are on the Penrose Cup and on the summer party. I've got a little surprise there, which should be quite nice. And then we'll just do a little general update, if everyone's okay with that. Cool. So, employee survey. We had 43 responses, which is not terrible, but not amazing. I think it's something like a quarter of staff, which is quite low. Obviously, I think I probably partially my fault. I didn't really send emails about it or mention it in the last town hall, but I think everyone would have got an email from Bamboo. I know a couple of people mentioned it to me. I think it is a really useful survey. I mean, it's totally confidential. I couldn't find out who wrote the comments if I wanted to, unless you like sign your name at the bottom or something. So it's very, I think it's a very valuable way of kind of feeding back and just letting us know what's going on. So I'd highly recommend next time it comes around, which will be in Feb, please do fill that in. Even if I forget to remind you, do please try and make every effort to fill that in. Yeah, I mean, it's always useful, and it does drive changes, even though changes can seem slow or they don't necessarily feel like, it doesn't necessarily sometimes feel like the things are being actioned. We'll go through it, and I think some things have changed, and you know, obviously things changed last time, and it's kind of just some of these things are slightly longer to implement, but yeah, I think it's a really valuable tool, and I would recommend everyone participate. In terms of just reminding you how the survey works, so it's an ENPS, Net Promoter Score, but for employees. And basically what they do is they take the number of promoters, or the percentage of promoters, and they subtract from that the percentage of detractors, so the people who are scoring 6 or below, promoters being 9 or 10, and then that's your score. In theory, the neutrals aren't included, but obviously they actually are, because if you have 100 neutrals and only 1 promoter and 1 detractor, your percentage is going to be very low, so you'll probably just get a 0. Well, you would get a 0 anyway, but you get the picture. So neutrals do get included because it makes a difference in terms of the percentages, but the promoters and the detractors are the key things here. And yeah, so the range of ENPS is -100 to +100, so it can get pretty sort of extreme at the edges, and I'll show you where we are in a second. And then after you've sort of scored, if you give us a 9 or a 10, then it asks you, what are we doing well? And if you've given us an 8 or below, then you get a how can the company improve, which are arguably the most useful things, but it's also good to know from people who are really happy, what is it that makes them happy. So this is where we are in terms of the actual outcome. So we had 43 responses, like I said, 27%. We got +5, which is not too bad. It's a small drop from Feb. We were at +10, although before that we were at -11. So a +5 is definitely not terrible. That's based on 40% promoters, 35% detractors. So you can see that like promoters have dropped very slightly, detractors have increased slightly. But I mean, obviously I think that the thing here is that we've only got 27% of the team responding. So I think, you know, we can only put a sort of limited amount of stock in that overall number. I think what's more interesting is to really look at the comments and kind of go through what it is people are saying for the people who responded. So, I mean, I think the graph on the right, I don't know if there's necessarily that much value to covering it. It's just kind of giving you an idea of how many people were at each rating. So we had like 12 10s, and we had 4 9s, and we had 5 9s and 5 8s. You can kind of read that in your own time and draw your own conclusions, but it feels like in general it's sort of skewed a little bit towards the 7s and the 6s, which is fine. So in terms of the actual categories, and the things that people are saying, so this is just a little screenshot I've taken from the actual report in Bamboo, and effectively what they talk about, or what they're trying to do here is they're trying to tag. So they auto tag based on what people write. They auto tag the sort of survey responses with sort of people at work or compensation or whatever it is people are saying. They try and understand it and tag the response. The thing that's slightly misleading about this graph, I think, a little bit, is that if you've given us an 8 or below, you're obviously classed as a neutral or detractor. Now, I think what seems to have happened here is that, like, you end up in a situation where actually it's not that people don't like people at work, it's just that people who have given us an 8 or below have mentioned people at work, and most often in a positive light, but they just ends up coming out here as a negative. So I think it's a little bit of a misleading graph, but it is interesting to get an overall feel for like how people are feeling and what are the things that people are talking about. But I'm going to go into it in more detail so you can see it on the next slides. I'm going to actually pull out those sort of quotes that I've taken from all of the completed surveys, so you'll actually get a more detailed version of this. I'm not going to read each one of these fully, but I guess in terms of the themes, it's not massively dissimilar to last time. I think it's changed slightly, but we'll go through it. So people at work still remains the top thing that everyone is just really happy about and really enjoys, which is really, really lovely to see. And it's what we never want to lose, really, is having a good team of people who enjoy working with each other. So that's really critical, and it's good that that's remaining at the top there in terms of positive aspects of work. I think workload is a new one that's come up this time, or at least it's come up repeatedly in this survey, which is interesting and obviously important. So obviously the kind of team being overworked or there being a lot of workload is a theme here. A couple of people sort of saying it can be full on, but it's still good. Some people saying it's more extreme than that. So that's kind of the workload point. I think in terms of leadership and environment and systems, I've grouped these together because I think they kind of end up all being part of the same sort of comments. It's a varied situation here. I would say some people are really happy. Some people would like more. You can read through these in detail in your own time. I'm obviously going to publish this later. It's always good to kind of read these sorts of things, and I'll come on to some action points after these slides. But yeah, it's always good to read these things. This slide is not massively different to last time. So induction and training, although I would say it's probably more focused towards training this time. I think induction seems to have dropped away a little bit as a theme, although it is something we continue to focus on. And then feedback and progress and recognition, I think those are all areas that we're looking at and thinking about really, really deeply. I will say it's a more complex area than just introducing reviews, because we can introduce a system, but someone's obviously got to do those reviews, and that's kind of the thing we're trying to tackle at the moment, and also trying to make sure that those reviews are meaningful but not really burdensome. We don't want to introduce a system where everyone's spending 3 or 4 days a year trying to do their own review or whatever it might be. So we've got to try and do it in a way that's really balanced. So those two areas are still there, which is completely fair enough. And then salary and benefits obviously is still a point there. I think there's always it's always going to be there to a certain extent. We continue to kind of review packages and look at benefits, etc., etc. So hopefully this will just get better over time. And then in terms of other suggestions, actually what's quite interesting is that a lot of these are to do with space, or at least three people, and there may even have been more, I can't remember, mentioned something about space. And space is definitely an issue that we're like very aware of and want to try and improve on. And there's a couple of other bits there as well. But yeah, I don't want to kind of read through them in detail. I think it's going to be extremely boring viewing. But you'll have, I'll publish this later, so you can have a look in your own time. Just to kind of remind ourselves of where we were 6 months ago. So like I said, it's not hugely different. So basically people at work, culture, I think people were looking for more social events. That's disappeared this month, which is really cool because I guess we did the big social event. And I think it's not surprising that in kind of the middle or end of the pandemic, sort of Feb 2021, that we all wanted a bit of kind of opportunity to meet our colleagues and friends. I think one thing that came up last survey, which is really nice, is that the recent changes that have been put in place from the previous survey, so a year ago, were highlighted as a positive. Obviously, I think I wouldn't expect those to have remained this time, which is totally fine. I think, yeah, obviously, like I said, pay was mentioned, benefits were the focus, suggested improvements. Management was sort of a bit of a mixed bag. Training and induction was still there, and reviews and recognition was also still there. And yeah, like I said, in terms of things that are changed, everyone's still positive about colleagues. Workload is a newer thing. I think it's more of a reflection of what's happening at the moment. I know a couple of people have commented as well on hiring. I didn't actually put those comments in there, but I you know, it's a particularly acute time right now. If you guys, I think if you guys watched the last one, and also this time there's fewer, but the last 2 town halls, I think we've had in total something like 30 new starters. So there is a real focus on hiring, and hopefully there's some changes which will make a positive impact on that. But the market is tough out there. You know, if people are leaving, often there's not that much we can do about that, and we just have to really try our best. I think one thing we are trying to do is improve the volume of relief staff, so having more team members. So let's say we've currently got 5 pharmacists, trying to hire a 6th pharmacist, so that when someone does leave or someone does go off, then it kind of spreads the load a little bit. So older pain points. So the sick pay point has sort of disappeared. Certainly this time it's not been coming up so much. Increased communication, so that has come back, which is an interesting point, and I think we probably want to do, so feedback on leadership is quite positive. Probably want to be doing more meetings and site visits. I think what we're going to try and do is look at having some kind of basically practice meetings in the PLTs. Just need to figure out how we do that and which ones we use for PLTs, especially in Lewisham, obviously, because there's multiple sites, all with the same PLTs. And I think the site days are going to come back as well, hopefully, if we can get the calendars sorted. And then inductions, training, feedback, appraisals, all key points, and it's something that we are actively working on. So I know it's frustrating, and it's something that people are really keen on, but there are certainly, in terms of like progress and training, I know that there's actively things that are happening right now. And then in terms of feedback and appraisals, that's a system that hopefully we will get up and running sooner rather than later. So lots to digest. I think this is just kind of saying the same thing. So restarting the site visits and practice meetings is going to be really important. But really, I think keep filling in these surveys. It's so useful to see what everyone is thinking. I've got a couple of comments here from people saying that they didn't receive the email. That's totally fine. If that's the case, then I will make sure to kind of resend reminders and stuff next time. I suspect it probably ends up in junk or something. It should have come through. I think I got mine, and I had other people asking me. It might have come through from Helen, actually. You might have. It's sort of automated, so she's not back with us, but it comes from her Bamboo for whatever reason. So yeah, but it's fine. Next time I'm going to try and remind everyone, and if anyone doesn't get it, they can just message me. But effectively, it should be coming in 5 months' time, because it came sort of a month ago, so it comes every 6 months. Okay, perfect. So that's the employee net promoter score. If anyone has any other questions or comments, or wants to just feedback generally, please just drop me a message or email, or come and find me. Totally fine. Or fill in the survey next time. Penrose Cup date, very exciting. So here we go, the teams, it's all very exciting. I'm going to show you the leaderboard in a second. I hope you guys are ready. After the steps challenge, we have, so I'll come to the leaderboard at the end. The top 5 from each site did a total of, hopefully you guys have seen my post, but I'll just reiterate the points here. The top 5 from each site have done a total of 3.5 million steps over those, I think it was 10 days, which is the equivalent of 7,500 Eiffel Towers that we walked, which is pretty awesome. That's like the vertical height of Eiffel Tower. I haven't worked out the number of steps and stuff. That's too many. That's too much effort. And yeah, we had some incredible individual participants. So the overall winner was Malfi from Penrose, who hopefully many of you know, who did almost 250,000 steps over 10 days. We had Elaine from LMC, Phoebe from Deptford, Francois from Knights Hill, and Paul here at Kingfisher, who were the sort of runner-up site winners, who each, I mean, those numbers, you can see them there, they're just ridiculous. So yeah. In terms of site rankings, Penrose Surgery, once again, #1. I don't know what the rest of us need to really get on it, because we have to dethrone Penrose somehow. But anyway, they got 788,000 steps there, of which 250,000 were Malfi. So just saying. But yeah, everyone I think did really well here. We've in total, like I said, got 3.5 million steps, and I think the point here is that it's really good to see everyone getting really involved, and hopefully you can see from the leaderboard that it is all to play for. Even the Kingfish Conquerors, we've got a bit of room here. We can overtake the Knights Hill team. I feel good. The next one is a pub quiz, brain games. So this could be our one. So hopefully everyone's brushing up for that. And yeah, I'll probably, I think the date for that is going to be end of next month. We'll just confirm that when we've actually got a date. But just kind of, if you hold the last Friday of September, fingers crossed, that's when we'll do it. It's just kind of subject to getting a booking and stuff. Okay, so summer party. It's my favorite bit. I've put together a little collage because we had some really cute photos. I mean, thank you to everyone for coming. It was such a lovely day, and it's just really nice to see everyone outside work. Obviously, we were really lucky with the weather, and we just, I think everyone had a really great time. You can see from the photos, it was just a really fun time. I know that some of the sites have put up some of the photos, just like printed out some of the photos. If you guys do want like printouts for the surgery, we can, like, as in professional prints and like little, maybe not framed ones, but like mounted pictures, and then just message me or Dad, and we can sort that out for sure. The photos have come out really nicely, and I think it's absolutely worth having them up on the walls. No harm there, especially with some of the faces you guys were making during sports day. Hopefully everyone's got access to this album. If you've not, just let me know and I can help you get access. So the little surprise I have for everyone is a little video, which I'm hoping is going to work. Let me know if it doesn't work in terms of sound, but we've got a little after movie here. So hopefully you guys enjoy. This is just a draft. So I'll publish the final version when I've got it, hopefully today. But yeah, just enjoy. It's gonna work. Here we go. My computer is really struggling today.
amazing people, and I feel very honoured that you work with us at Penrose. So thank you very much.
There you go. So hopefully kind of just a nice short and sweet little reminder of the day. We might use some of that for hiring and stuff like that, but it's actually mainly for internal use and just for you guys to see. So yeah, I'll post that. I'll post the final version on Teams hopefully later today. I'm just waiting on one last thing. So yeah, thank you to everyone for coming, and hopefully we get more people. If we do it next year, it'd be really nice to have like the whole family there, whole Penrose family there. So yeah. Cool. Okay, last bit, little general update. So we've got some new starters and we've got some leavers. I'll go through the new starters. So we've got Claudina Chloe, who is our new HCA at well, she's covering the whole group. We've got Paul, who's our new HCA in training, who's here at Kingfisher. We've got Mo George, who's a new pharmacist. I'll skip a couple and go down to Wayne. We've also got Wayne, who's another new pharmacist who is starting on Monday. So hopefully we're back up to full pharmacy capacity. I did say we're looking at a 6th, so we may make another hire in the next couple of weeks, but those two bring us back up to full pharmacy cover, which is hopefully a relief for everyone. We've got a new nurse starting at Penrose, Megan. We have a new receptionist, Rachel, here at Kingfisher. And on top of all this, we've got Charlie, who is our, as you guys know, our lead GP at Penrose Surgery, who's currently taking the lead GP role at LMC temporarily, for those of you who weren't already aware of that. We've got some leavers, sadly. Got a couple from Kingfisher. So we've got Anna and Ishrat, so our paramedic and our pharmacist at Kingfisher, have unfortunately left us. Charlotte, Dr. Bailey, and Alexandra, Dr. Baker, the two GPs at LMC who are leaving. And then at night, so we've got two receptionists, Lola and Sam, I think are both leaving today, potentially. And yeah, the last one is Helen. So Helen is also leaving us as of 4th September. So yeah, we wish everyone the best of luck, and yeah, hopefully we will see you all again in the future. But yeah, some starters, some leavers, and obviously we're doing some hiring as well. We've got a variety of different ads out. Please, if anyone wants to share them, go for it. Just send me a message. I really appreciate it when people share. It makes a huge difference to our hiring. It has already impacted our hiring, certainly in terms of like clinicians. Makes a huge difference in terms of getting candidates through the door. And I was actually looking the other day, the candidates we get through referrals are actually tend to be the most successful ones, and there is obviously a little financial benefit as well, but I think the main benefit is that you end up working with colleagues, and these people hopefully will help make everyone's lives easier. So yeah, that's starters and leavers. And then last slide. So a few things that are happening. So Introdoc has been now fully decommissioned. You guys shouldn't have access to that anymore, and it should at least be empty if you do. Let Gurren know if there are any issues with that, or anything you're not sure about where to find. Gurren or Greg will be able to help you actually. We have been doing some strategic hiring planning for our central team. So obviously Helen has now left, like I mentioned previously. So trying to figure out how do we move forward with HR and talent acquisition, and also looking at other hiring centrally, and trying to just boost our team so that we can continue to kind of build on some of the stuff we talked about. One of those aspects is IT infrastructure. So we've been looking into possible changes to our IT infrastructure across the group. At the moment, obviously, we use quite a managed service. It's the NHS and LCSU managed service that we all know and love, but we are considering whether there's benefits to maybe making some changes there. Quaff and recall work, I can't talk much about where this is going right now, and I appreciate that it is August. We're like almost halfway through the year already, but hopefully you'll hear some more in September, October. Part of that will be child IMS, which should be coming sooner rather than later. We're doing a little bit of work on that, trying to figure out which basically categorizing the different patients and make sure that the data that we've got is correct. But obviously, keep doing the day-to-day recall work and that sort of stuff. One point on that is I know that you guys may have seen or heard about the blood vacutainer shortage situation that has apparently escalated literally last night. We are looking into that and trying to figure out exactly what we need to be doing. We actually use a different supplier to the one that is currently in shortage. And so we're just working with the commissioners to try and figure out what do we need to be doing, and please don't go and cancel all the patients yet. I think we've got to sort of figure it out logically first, and then we can give you a strategy. But if you've got any questions on that, please message me or Garen about that. We've been doing a little bit more COVID vaccination. I think there was a vaccine ban maybe 3 weeks ago. We're trying to desperately use up some vials at Penrose. If anyone knows any patients who want a vaccine but haven't had it, Penrose surgery is the place to be. Obviously, that will lead us into phase 3, which I think is going to be really led at the hubs, but we haven't actually heard much about it yet. So hopefully, we'll sort of learn more about that soon. Phase 3 being the booster jabs, obviously. Review process, so I mentioned earlier, we are looking at reviews. We've had some calls with Bamboo HR to try and figure out how their system works, and just trying to make sure that the system we use fits all our needs properly. Care coordinator, I know Garen has been working on finalising that role, and hopefully we'll be piloting that fairly shortly. That's a new and exciting role that should hopefully be quite impactful across the group, and it's a good progression opportunity for reception, and just really some good changes there. The typing improvement course has started, so if anyone's keen to join that, let Glenn know. He's running that at the moment. If anyone's on that, I think Glenn has emailed you about doing the kind of course, so please crack on with that. It's just really useful, and it shouldn't take that much time, and obviously typing is a skill you can take with you. You will need in almost any job, unless you become a builder or something. I think it's pretty useful to have typing under your belt. Pensions, we continue to tidy up. Child IMS, we talked about. Manor Place Terrace, we continue to progress. We're also looking at other solutions in terms of space, something a little bit more creative, but yeah, it's a kind of a medium-term thing. Obviously, space is not an easy thing to solve, and it's quite an expensive thing to solve. So we are trying to figure out what solution works best for us and for everyone. But we are aware of it, and we are working on it. So yeah, that's it. That's just what we're doing here. So yeah, thank you for everyone for working hard. I know, I mean, having seen the comments, workload I know is tough at the moment. I sympathise with this. I hope everyone's had a little bit of a break, or is having a little bit of a break, and this is the time to do it. I'm off next week actually as well, so but feel free to message me. I'm never far from Teams. And yeah, it was really good to see everyone at the summer party, and hopefully we will see you all again soon. Great, I told you the short one, 40 minutes, not bad. Thanks, guys.